Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitators and coaches Betsy McLaughlin and Kathy Williams to delve into different areas of your life, get unstuck, and create the life that is truly possible for you. These joyful ladies have changed their lives by utilizing the tools and techniques they share with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Kathy and Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. This is Kathy Williams here with my co-host, Betsy McLaughlin. And we are going to have a conversation about creating a life of prosperity. And it's so funny. I had a brain fart moment a moment ago, and I was just like, what's the title of our show? I know it's about prosperity. What is it? And I had to look it up on my phone. But here we are. I remembered. And see, it's Imperfect Brilliance. We are not perfect, but we show up. And that's half of it. You know, I see, right? Isn't it true, Beth?
Yep.
And it's okay, you know, when we're not perfect and we have that moment of vulnerability where we're like, I mean, last week I sent a client a note that was for another client, and I was just like, whoops, I goofed, sorry. And it's totally fine because people know that you're real. They know, and if you're willing to be vulnerable like that, it's so much more relatable. It's sort of like, you know, people, maybe you hate her or love her, but I'm going to liken it to, you know, Kim Kardashian is at least, you know, she shows up as herself. She doesn't try to be Greta Garbo and all perfect, you know. We wouldn't relate to one of those old-time actresses anymore because we've got to show up as real and as flawed and as perfect and as, you know, crazy as we truly are, perfectly imperfect. So anyway, that's how we show up on the show. So thanks for being with us today. And also, you can find us not only on OMTimes Radio, also on OMTimes puts the show on SoundCloud and iTunes and all these other places, iHeartRadio, so that during your week, if it's not a Tuesday, you can find the shows on all these different platforms, including iom.fm. And we've been going on for, oh gosh, more years than I care to think about. With topics all over the map, from parenting to relationships to money to bodies to travel and sales and all sorts of things. And I know I always say it, but if you have an idea for a show, send it our direction and we'll put it on the list. And when it pops, we'll do a show about it. And so it might not be tomorrow or next week, but it will go on the list. And so we'll let you know when it comes out. All right. That said, awesome. Miss Beth, do you want to say something else about us?
Thank you so much. Well, as you said, you know, we are imperfectly brilliant, and we are, you know, looking at how do you describe yourself? You know, it's such an interesting thing. And, you know, we're infinite beings. We're infinite beings choosing this journey to this point in our lives. We have chosen to be coaches and facilitators. We play with the tools and incorporate them in all aspects of our lives of access consciousness. So you will hear us referencing things throughout the show about tools and questions. And we both are certified facilitators. with Access Consciousness, which means that we can teach a huge variety of classes. We've done a lot of education, and we continue to do a lot of education to further ourselves. And, it's not like there's an end to our own personal journey, right? So we share a little piece of our lives and a little piece of ourselves with you guys on this show. And we teach classes together. We do a lot of things separately, and we, support each other and encourage each other and cheer each other on. Kathy lives, when she's not traveling, she lives in Hawaii in the United States.
When I'm not traveling, when I'm
right?
not at the airport, my second home.
And I live in Maryland, also in the United States, on the East Coast, a suburb of the capital of the United States, when I'm not traveling. And so we facilitate classes in person as well as online. We have programs, and we're always happy to create something with you guys. We have personal coaching sessions. We teach classes in person, body classes, and all kinds of other amazing, amazing things. And you can find Kathy. Her website is Meet Kathy Williams with a K. And you can also find her on Facebook as all over the place. And you can find me at creatingyumminess.com and also on Facebook and the internet. And we love to, as Kathy said, we love to chat with you guys and see how we can contribute to you. So today's topic I love, prosperity, wealth, abundance, all of those things. Kathy, for me personally, for a long time, I really kind of thought that was for other people. And so, when you have that point of view, you don't really work to create it in your own life. And so I didn't for a long time. And now it's like, well, why not? Why do I exclude myself from that equation? So I don't anymore. But even my definition of what prosperity and wealth is has really, really changed over the years. So I'm so looking forward to this conversation today.
You know what? I love that you mentioned that you didn't think it was maybe really for you. Because I think a lot of us think, okay, I have to have this secret ingredient. And depending on who you are, that secret ingredient is different. So maybe for some people it's, well, I need to work really hard. And for other people it's like, I need the master idea. And for someone else, it's like, no, I should have been born in the right family. I don't have the right family or history or past. Like, I can't have prosperity or, and it's like, none of those are actually true. Like, having prosperity has nothing to do with deserving, and it has nothing to do with having to effort for it. That doesn't mean you won't put in time, won't put in hours, won't take the actions that are required. But it's, I always, when I'm working with clients and classes around abundance, I ask people, do you deserve air? Like, did you effort to earn air, or does it just circulate? And wealth is the same way. Like, money is the same way. Money circulates. And even right around us right now, like hundreds of millions of dollars or pounds or euro or whatever your currency is are circulating through computers, through the airwaves, all of that. And so it's like, there's no concept, there's no idea of deserving or undeserving. There's no certain point of certain type of person wealth or prosperity is for, other than you putting in your order. And your order is with your vibration. So we can do some exercises today to really tap into that and what is prosperity and what is being the energy of that.
Yeah.
So I know Betsy has some things to say.
Well, I love even just talking about it because for so long, and I was not allowed growing up. We did not talk about money. We did not talk about prosperity. We did not talk about wealth. So I didn't really even know what it was. And it was like this, secret, forbidden thing. And so to actually even talk about it, it actually is exciting for me. My body gets excited. My being gets excited. It's like, ooh, and the idea of talking about prosperity and what that is for you, like I said, really just excites me. And so everywhere where you have not either allowed yourself or been allowed to talk about it or to think about it, to write about it, and to imagine what that would be for you, would you be willing to now destroy and uncreate everything that is for you?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. And so we're going to do the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, which basically it gets rid of like heaviness, and it just changes the energy. So you don't need to know how it works. We just know that it does. And if you would like more information, then we do talk about it a lot in our foundation classes, which is a 4-day class, so you can really dive into things. But for the purpose of, a short radio show program, we refer people to Dr. Dane here has a website where he explains it a little bit, and you can go to theclearingstatement.com. So it's kind of just like waving a magic wand and changing energy. So with all of that explanation, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. So what did that bring up for you, Kathy?
Well, I got engaged in, the clearing statement, foundation classes. Oh, yeah, like squirrel, lots of squirrels. Sorry.
I love it.
And you talked a little bit about your family's history with money, or, what was allowed in your family. And my family was a little different. When I was 14 years old, my dad said, hey, here's this list. These are called stocks. These mean you own a part of a company. What I'd like you to do is pick 3 stocks to look at, right? We're not buying them. We're just going to watch them every week. So in the Sunday paper every single week, I would just look, now Campbell's soup is down $5. Now it's up $3, and so I watched it. And after a little while, my dad said, okay, now I'm going to give you some real money, and you get to pick 3 stocks. And so I remember I picked Cracker Barrel. I picked some land, like Pine and Land Company, Delta Pine and Land Company, and I do not remember the 3rd stock. Now, again, since this was real money, I was much more attentive to it, right? Now it's going down. Now it's going up. Wow. And ultimately, I started to educate myself. I was, 14, 15, 16 years old, reading Forbes magazine, looking at like, hey, what do I think are the ingredients for a good company? And I would look at and companies, and I remember, the clothing brand Chico's? It's kind of like its own, so they're not in other stores. They've got their own stores. Well, when I was a young teenager, I said, when that goes public, that's a really viable idea, and I'm going to buy it. So when they went public, I had $400 I put into that company. And when I took out that money, it was worth $4,000. So,
amazing.
In retrospect, you always wish you had put, $1,000 or $10,000 into it. But hey, yeah. So
that's amazing.
So that, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, what a gift that was for your father, to actually educate you and have you start to understand it. You know, I really was so blind with all of that. You know, it was like, and I kind of didn't know what I didn't know. You know,
Yes.
so I didn't know how to do a budget. I didn't know how really to pay my bills. I mean, none of that. I had no education at all. So I taught myself through the school of hard knocks a lot of times. So I love that you had, you know, a different experience of that growing up.
Thank you. And you know what? I mean, it's being passed on to my children. And I just want to emphasize before I even go there, like, if you were not educated like that, it's not required for creating a life of prosperity. So I just want to tell you right off the bat, it's not required. The thing that is required is that you know that you have the ability to study and learn and expand your information, your knowledge base, and your awareness about prosperity and wealth. And over the next 40 minutes, we'll go into that more and more. But 2 nights ago, I was on the bed and I was checking. I do options trading, which I really get a kick out of. It's just super fun for me. I wouldn't do it if it's not fun. And if you know how to mitigate your risk, it's amazing. It's less risky than stock investing, but that's only if you know what you're doing. So I was checking my options trades that I have in, which are 2 at this point. And my son said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm checking my options trades. Would you like to learn a little bit about it?" And so we looked at some stock charts, and I said, okay, as it goes up, this is higher lows and higher highs. You see how it makes a little, you know, it's like a little jagged mountain. And then as it goes down, these are lower highs and lower lows, like a little jagged mountain downward. And I was just teaching him about it. You know, and so I quizzed him at dinner. I said, "What's a bull market? What's a bear market?" And he got it. He's 9 years old. So can you imagine? I wouldn't have even thought of doing that, I think, unless my dad had started me really young. So anyway, we'll go into, when we come back, some strategies and ways for you to tap into more prosperity in your life. Thanks for listening to Imperfect Brilliance, everybody. We'll be right back.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Hi, this is New Age Grammy winner Paul Avgerinos. Thanks for listening to OMTimes Radio, and please support my peaceful healing music with a purchase at iTunes, Amazon, or wherever you shop for fine music. Just put my name into the search engine, Paul Avgerinos. A, V like Victor, G like George, E-R-I-N-O-S. You can also visit me at roundskymusic.com. Thanks for listening, and I'm wishing you the brightest of blessings.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back to Imperfect Brilliance. Kathy Williams and Betsy McLaughlin here today talking about wealth and prosperity and all kinds of yummy. I was kind of curious what the dictionary said the definition of prosperity was. And there's a lot of synonyms for it. Easy for me to say. I wanted to say cinnamon. So it's
lots of cinnamon for it.
Cinnamon.
It goes with your cookies.
What's the spice with this? So it's wealth, success, profitability, affluences, riches, opulence, the good life, good fortune, ease, plenty, comfort, security, well-being. And I thought that was really interesting. And it's a very old word. And the condition of being successful or thriving, especially economic well-being, are some of the definitions that I found. And so, that for a lot of people brings up like a wonky energy, like, ooh, I don't have that, or I want that, but I don't know how to get it. So I love that we're having this conversation today about prosperity.
And thank you.
What it means in your life. You're welcome. What were you going to say?
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing in those definitions. And you're right. It can bring up a lot for people. So shall we just begin to clear some of that for a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so everything that definition brought up for you, wow. Will you destroy and uncreate it all across all time, space, and realities? Wow, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everything, all the ideas you have about you in relation to wealth, or wealth in relation to you. Will you destroy and uncreate all of those times the godzillion? Wow.
What are you talking about, Kathy? Right, wrong, good, bad.
Can't even say the clearing statement.
Wow. Yeah. So what do you mean? I heard like some people going, wait, what does she mean by asking questions around the definition of it? So, because there was a lot of energy there, and sometimes when we are asking questions and doing the clearing statement, we might yawn, and it's not that we are bored. It is actually clearing out the energies, and maybe there could be some unconscious energies around this. So if you hear us yawning, that's what's going on. So you couldn't even get the clearing statement out when you were talking about definitions. So
no, I couldn't.
So all
and I will.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Betsy.
I was just going to say, like, all the definitions.
No, you go.
No, you go. You go first. It's all the definitions that we have. How many different ways have we locked ourselves up with these definitions and gone to the unconsciousness of whatever it is we've decided these words mean in our lives? So, oh my gosh, I'm going to start yawning now.
So everything that brings up, will you destroy and then create it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, all name, shorts, poison, beyond. And one of the easiest ways to see this is, if you define anything, you limit it. For example, yourself. You could define yourself in roles. Me, I'm a mother, I'm an author, a coach, a traveler, a citizen of the United States, like all these things, but none of them can really capture, interesting word, who I am, right?
Right.
Each of them explains an aspect, but none of them can really say who or what I am fully. And so when we define things, we limit them. Wow. And so, you know, when Betsy listed out all these words, you know, prosperity, it's wealth and opulence and well-being and this and that and the other thing, we get like ideas. To me, wealth will mean one thing, and to Betsy, it'll mean something else, and to a listener, you know, to each listener, it'll have a different sense, a different quality, a different memory, a different idea, or a machination, like in your imagination. But we've defined them in certain ways. So if we can undefine them and instead tap into the energy, then we tap into pure possibility, instead of our ideas, our limited ideas of what something is.
Right.
Did that make sense?
Yes. Well, it made sense to me.
Okay.
Hopefully it did to our listeners as well. So, you know, with the definitions, so we're clearing out what our definitions are. So with our definitions gone, then what do we do?
Oh. So one of the things you hear Betsy and I do a lot on the show is ask questions. And if you've listened to our show, you've heard us ask lots and lots of questions because questions open the doors of your awareness. To me, they're kind of like shining. If you ask a question, you shine the flashlight of your awareness in that direction, right? So then you're going to see more. The other thing that we can do that's actually kind of fun is do a little prosperity exercise.
Woohoo!
Okay. All right. So, you know, I recognize that each of us has a different relationship with prosperity and also with people we consider prosperous. So I remember in one class I led, I think I was using the word wealth instead of prosperous. And one woman said, well, Kathy, the only person I know who is wealthy is you. And I was like, okay, then use me. It doesn't really matter. And you don't have to know the person personally. It might be useful if you do, but it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is just, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But if you're in a safe place to do that, sometimes it helps. So you get to choose that. As you're here, what I'd like you to do is tap into the energy of people who are prosperous, people who are in prosperity consciousness, and get a sense of that. Okay? And just drop any decisions, conclusions, ideas you have about that, and ask to tap into the energy of people with prosperity consciousness. And as you do, sense where that is in your body and sense the quality of it. Can you expand that body and maybe even into the space around you? And can you enhance that? So turn it up. And if you turn it up, what's the effect? And if you don't like the effect, turn it back to where it was before. And now ask yourself to remember this sense of prosperity. You could use an anchor by putting your fingertips together. Okay, every time I do this hand position, or every time I put my fingers on my chin like this, I'm going to remember this sense of prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
So that at each time I'd like to return to it, I can do that action and anchor it in even more. Because the more I embody this energy throughout my day, the more I make it real for me. And like attracts like. So I'll attract more of the thought processes, more of the experiences, more of the people who help me actualize more of this sense and more of this energy in my reality. So it becomes like a loop. And some people might call that a positive feedback loop, right? The energy draws to you the people, right? If you're being the energy of fun, are you more likely to attract fun people or more likely to attract, boring, pissed off people, right? And likewise, at a party, when you see someone who's fun, are you more likely to go over to them or to the bored, pissed off person, right? So you being this energy draws more of it to you. It's an energetic pull. And did you have anything to add to that, Betsy?
What kept coming in as you were talking was how money follows joy. And then you, right at the end, you said, who would you like to spend your time with? So what is the energy of joy is what attracts everything in your life that will contribute to wealth and prosperity. And again, without, however much we can undefine our definitions of what wealth and prosperity is. To me, wealth and prosperity comes in all kinds of shapes and forms, sizes and colors. It's my friends, it's laughing, it's seeing beautiful flowers, so it's not necessarily, having a huge stack of $100 bills sitting in front of me. And
so
really,
true.
Right.
So
right. So when I find myself, it really is. And so when I find myself defining or limiting my idea of what that is, I will do that clearing statement. I will do exercises like what Kathy just shared with us and ask questions, and what else can I bring into my life that has that energy of prosperity and wealth and joy and what lights me up. And all of that I have found really contributes to creating what it is that I desire to create.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought this piece in, because I know people who make, upwards of $5 million a year, but are anxious and don't sleep well. And that actually wouldn't fit my life of prosperity, right? Like if I'm anxious and not sleeping well, that's not as abundant as, having maybe a little less money and really good sleep and really a happy relationship with life. So absolutely. It's important to tap into, like, what is prosperity? I think we can each ask, what is prosperity to me? The dictionary has its definition, but what is it to you?
Yeah. And then destroy and uncreate all of your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions that you have tied up with what that means to you.
Yeah.
So would you, why Why did I say that, Kathy?
Well, we have these ideas, right? Again, and then we have our relationship with it. So it's like, oh yes, to me, prosperity is, I'm just going to make something up, a big house in a big city, and I'm just going to be a little crazy here. So 2 Teslas and whatever. And then we get to look at, like, is that actually my idea of prosperity, or is that what I've decided I should have, right? If I had a lot of money or I had a lot of whatever, that's what I should have. Be good to the earth with my Teslas. And then, or that was my mom's idea, right? Having really a big house and, a couple of expensive cars, or maybe that's my, peer's idea. But is it actually my true idea of wealth? And then we have our relationship with it, which is, okay, let's say it truly is your idea of wealth. So then you get to look at, like, yes, but I could never have that. That would be too much to work for. Or I'd have to work for so many years, and I'd have to do jobs that I hate because I'd be promoted, and then I would hate that job, or whatever. We have, like, our stories of what it would take to get whatever we've decided we like, we'd like to have. Yeah, and so destroying and uncreating all of that can be such a huge, huge gift. So let's do that. Do you want to do a clearing, Beth?
All right. So all your definitions, all your definitions, all your conclusions, all your projections, all your expectations, and anything else that you have around this entire conversation and beyond, are you willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yay! Right and wrong.
Gladly.
All on shorts, boys, and beyond. And if you can't remember all that, you can just say, what, Puck and Pod. And thank you so much for listening to Imperfect Brilliance, where we're having an imperfectly brilliant conversation about prosperity and wealth and what it means to you. And stay tuned. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thank you.
With some practical tools. See you soon.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Hi, this is recording artist and composer Yuval Ran, inviting you to a voyage through the chakras, a new double album of guided meditations to transform your life, a sublime musical medicine for nourishing inner peace and reaching to your higher virtues. Get it now at metamindfulnessmusic.com, METTA, mindfulnessmusic.com.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Imperfect Brilliance, everyone. This is Kathy Williams here with my co-host Betsy McLaughlin, and we are having a conversation about prosperity. And that keyboard cat ad always brings a smile to my face. One day I had to go and check out Keyboard Cat.
I did too. It's so fun.
What a fun story. So before we get back to our topic today, which is creating a life of prosperity, I would love to just talk about some things that we're inviting you guys to in person and online. And one of the things is that's coming up in mid-January, and we're in 2019 now. Amazing. And we're already in mid-January. So a little bit later in January is called the Radical Abundance Free Challenge. And I've led several hundred people through this in the past. And it's just so much fun to see the light bulbs that go off and the doors that open for people with that free challenge. So you can head to meetkathyWilliams.com/upcoming to check that out. And again, it's just so much fun. It's free. It's 5 days. And you can kind of do it on your own time. And then there's only one live thing together. So it's really easy to just slip into your day. And then if you are super into upgrading and changing your life in regard to your desires and in regard to abundance, I am once again running Radical Abundance over the course of 2 months. And this really lights me up because of the changes people make. One guy WhatsApped me and he said, Kathy, this is the first year I'm finishing my year with a surplus instead of a debt. So this is huge for me. And that occurred after taking Radical Abundance. And another woman said, Kathy, I listened to one of the modules. It's run in 9 modules. I listened to one of the modules 3 times because I've been trying to understand manifestation and actualization for 16 years, and I finally get it. I had another woman say that it's the best course she's ever taken on manifestation and actualization. So if you want to join us for that, there is still the lower priced option running for, oh my gosh, it might end today, but I would have to check that. It might be running for just a couple more days. So you can check that out at meetkathyWilliams.com/upcoming or /Radical Abundance Online. And then at meetkathyWilliams.com /upcoming, there are also some upcoming in-person classes. So if you want to head over to Maui in March or in Virginia in April, I'll be there too. So you can check those out at meetkathyWilliams.com /upcoming. And I know Betsy has some fun, yummy stuff coming up too.
I do. I actually have a free call, online call that's Saturday afternoon, and you can find more information on that. That is about creating a magical year, and certainly money will play a part of it, prosperity, happiness, all of those things. So I'm looking forward to that call, and you can email me at accessbetsy@gmail.com. I can send you the link. I'm not sure that the website is working properly at this moment in time, so I'd rather just have you email me, and I can get you the sign-up information. I also have several in-person classes coming up. I have a couple of Access Bars classes, one in January, the end of January, one the end of February. I also have Energetic Facelift coming up, again, one in January, one in February. And I have a foundation class in Virginia in April. And lots of other things in the works as well. So, yeah, lots of fun things. Lots of fun things. So Thank you, everybody, for listening to us. We so appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Betsy, I was thinking during the course, in the foundation class, in the course of, not in the course, in the course of the ads, in the foundation class, we talk about some tools to create financial awareness. And there's one that people generally have resistance to. Do you get that people have resistance to one of them or pretty consistently? Yeah? Yeah. Yet, doing this will actually change your life dramatically. And it's knowing what it costs you to live. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, that's a great thing. And I certainly did not know for a long time really how much I was required to, just get my bills paid, let alone, and have some money left for groceries or incidentals. I really had no idea. And I, too, did not really want to look at it for a while. It's interesting. And then I wonder now, how much of that wasn't even me. And I was just so aware of a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people really do resist having that knowledge. And there's some kind of heavy energy around the word budget, right? So I never liked that word. And so I don't even use it now. But I remember what you would hear that you had to have a budget. And so, of course, because I would hear that you have to have it, I wanted to do the opposite and not do it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, because I knew you had to have it, I did it. Oh, okay. You ran the other direction.
Yep. I ran the other way.
All right. And so then, you were teaching this course, and did you do it, or?
So now I have done it, and knowing what is required is really something that, for me, it's to know the basics of what it is, what's required to pay my mortgage, my car, all of these things. All right, how much money do I need to bring in at a minimum? Okay, cool. And so from there, then it's all right, how much more can I create on top of it? And for me, it's a very fun energy to know that, as opposed to sticking my head in the sand and having no idea what was required for my life.
Yeah, and you know what? If we're, let's say, I'm just going to make up a number. If we're making $6,000 a month, but we realize, I'm spending $10,000 a month,
right.
Then there's going to be a sense of scarcity, a sense of not enough, a sense of, there's the Visa bill. And instead of, if you're willing to look at that, at least for a little while, and be like, okay, now what could I add to my life? Right? Instead of, okay, how can I rein it in? Although that's useful too. I'm paying for a membership site. I look online, I belong to some different membership sites and things like that. And it's if I'm spending $30 a month I don't actually use, maybe it's time to eliminate that. Or,
right.
Different things that you're not using. Maybe you have Apple TV and Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these things that kind of duplicate themselves a little bit. Maybe you can rein it in. And so there's that. But without, buying into scarcity, also adding, okay, what can I do to add more money to my life? What can I choose? What energy can I be? And if you really look at people who have a lot of money, usually, I'm not saying all the time, but usually they have all different revenue rivers that can fill their lake, I'm going to say, right? So it's not just all one source, but there's a variety, so that, and so you can start to look at, oh, what else would like to make me money? Where else would money like to come from? And then start to educate yourself on those things too. You know, I saw an old friend, a friend I hadn't seen for like 15 years. And I said, what is that around your neck? And he told me it was tanzanite. And I said to him, I just love tanzanite. And it's becoming less and less available. So these things that are going to go up in value because they're only mined from one area in the world, you know, you can ask, will that make me money? Will buying that make me money? And then invest in it. So it's about education, which is a piece that we touched on earlier. Education and really allowing yourself to trust yourself, right? Is now the time to buy this? Will you go up in value? And you can ask each thing that.
Yes. And really to ask questions and be that invitation for money to come in, opportunities to come in from all kinds of different directions. And, you know, so when we destroyed and uncreated our definitions of money and wealth, and along with that, let's destroy and uncreate all of our definitions of what money is, like as far as income. You know, so everywhere that you've defined that money comes linearly, easy for me to say, and it can only come from, you know, one or maybe two sources. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate all that?
Oh, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Because Kathy even mentioned, too, like it could be that you realize, hey, I'm duplicating a payment here, and that saves you $50 a month or $30 a month or something like that. So that is a way that money is coming into your life. So, you know, there's a lot of different possibilities. You know, you could take an odd job. You could get money refunded. You know, there's just all kinds of ways that money can show up. And if you ask for it, what does come in a lot of times is a complete surprise, and it can also be magical.
Yeah, it was so cool. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
I have a fun little story about that. There was a woman taking Radical Abundance last year, and she there was a woman at her work who was let go or left or something like that. So they divvied up that lady's jobs until they get the person to fill the new position. So when she was doing one of the jobs that woman had done, she was able to look at her health insurance. I think it was health insurance. If I get the story wrong, please don't kill me, because you're probably listening. Anyway, she was making this insurance payment and essentially paying way too much, like double, and so she got a nice check back to her. And nice. It was just unexpected. Money can come from all different places.
Yes.
Right? And if she hadn't taken over that person's job, let's say they gave it to someone else, then she wouldn't have audited, you know, her own account and seen that she was paying way too much.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I get so, you know, excited too. Like I was looking at, you know, I have a spreadsheet of my past expenditures and, you know, my target for how much I pay every month to get this, you know, paid off. And then when I actually, you know, pay it off, I, you know, put in big, bright red letters like, woohoo, you know, and celebrate the fact that I have paid off this past expenditure. And then I take money that I was paying on that one and put it towards the next one. And, so I have my target and my spreadsheet of eliminating all of these things. And it's, so celebrating this, everything and every dollar that does come in also is another way to foster your prosperity and your wealth and the joy that money can be in your life.
That's so true, Betsy. Thank you so much for bringing that in, because it really is. Even when you get a bill, like my Visa bill came today, and I was like walking with it from the mailbox to the house saying, thank you so much for buying me plane flights. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this and that and the other thing. And by the time I got inside, I was just so happy with my Visa bill.
Right. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. A lot of it really is about your point of view. And, oh, my gosh, we're at the end of the time. How did that happen?
Oh, celebrating every day. That's really the energy of prosperity. Thank you, Betsy.
What a fun conversation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We so appreciate you.
Thank you, everybody.
Week.
And see you next Tuesday, or you can catch us on SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or IOM.FM anytime for the replays. Thanks a bunch, everybody. Be in touch at Imperfect Brilliance